Hi everyone, I'm Heather Poduska and I'm here at WinCAM tonight for a special presentation on mental and physical defense. This presentation is to help keep our community, our loved ones, our families safer. My guest here tonight is Kristen Lashota. She is a previous corrections officer, a managing security officer at the federal level, and a police and security officer for the city of Boston. Kristen is here with us tonight because she's created a special program called DIATA, Defend Yourself Against the Aggressor. And she's here to talk to us about how we can be mentally and physically tough to keep ourselves safe. Welcome, Kristen. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us what DIATA is and why you created it?
Sure. So the reason why I have my program is because of the vulnerable populations that are currently in our society, that being the children, women, as well as senior citizens. Unfortunately, we live in an insecure world, and I want to help on a broader scale from my previous employment positions, where I teach about awareness. Awareness is your #1 key defense against any attack or aggressor. And I talk a lot about mental conditioning, which is the systematic mental repetition of some image, activity, or behavior without any observable movements. People say in class, what does that actually mean?
I was just going to say, what does that mean?
That is basically mental conditioning, like a meditation. So you go to your job every day and you know what you have to do. It becomes second nature to you. Defense has to be the same way.
Can you give us an example of a small thing, what that would look like?
Sure, absolutely. So you think about one situation that could possibly be horrible in your life, that being somebody coming to you and putting their hands around your neck and trying to strangle you. In class, that's one thing that I work on with techniques. And if you go over that technique again and again and again, the way that I teach it, you'll instantly be able to do the technique, continue with the method, follow it through, and get yourself out of Dodge to safety.
Okay.
So without having mental conditioning and always continuously thinking about it, it's not going to be there for later recall when you need it.
Okay, got it, got it.
So I incorporate awareness, mental conditioning, diversion, distraction, and most importantly, personal space zones. There are different measurements in your personal space which you have to understand in order to keep people at a safe distance and where you feel comfortable, where your hair isn't sticking up on the back of your neck saying, there's something just not right about this person. They're a little bit too close. And so there are measurements where only personal friend, mom, dad, husband, wife should be that close to you. And then as it goes out into society, those numbers gets larger and larger, and personal space to the back is another aspect that I talk about, most importantly. The reason why we need this is because anything can happen to us, and people say it's not going to be me on this particular day. I've said that. I've had things happen to me where I've had this experience, because this is my life, and this was my life, law enforcement and corrections and securities for a very long time. So I was apt to protect myself in such a way. So this, for me, is second nature. But then again, I've been doing this for some 20 years now. So again, I want to try and upkeep this for people so they understand their safe zones, so they understand some methods and techniques if ever needed. Girls come to Boston from small little towns, say in Kansas, and they come to school here. They say, Boston is so big, beautiful, and bright. A lot of historical aspects to Boston. After a frat party, and you're dressed rather scantily clad, don't go down to the water, Charles River, at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's unsafe. And that's what some people, some young girls don't realize.
What about our community? We've had some things happen in the past year. There was some incidents. Do you think that we have a false sense of security here in our community?
Absolutely. I think that there's a false sense of security because bad people can get in their cars and drive too. And they can come into the good towns and kind of infiltrate. That's why I always say lock your door. If somebody comes to your door saying, hey, I'm the postman, or hey, I'm the electric person, I need to get into your house, which actually did happen in a town on the South Shore. I'm the electric man, I need to get in and check this. Oh, people are willing, oh, okay, this person is okay. No, don't let anybody into your house. Make a phone call, show an ID badge.
So what if your kids are, what do you tell the kids if they're home and someone says, I'm the electrician? What should they do?
They should call, number one, mom and dad. Was anything scheduled today? And I highly doubt it, since mom and dad is not home. At that point, I would call the police just to come by for a check, make sure everything is okay. And I would tell the mom, if it's the electric company, definitely call the company and see if they sent anybody out for any particular reason. But I would have the child call 911 because that's their first sense of security. And as the parent could be in work, which could be miles away.
Right, right. So I hear you say awareness is really the very first thing. What's the next thing? What's the next level?
So that's personal space, which I was just talking about a little while ago. And you really have to understand your personal space when you go out into the community and its stores, because we as women, we go food shopping, and as we're checking the eggs, we put our bag down, and I see this all the time, and people are turning their back on their pocketbook with all their secured information, credit cards, monies, phones, and they're turning their back on it. Then their bag is gone, then they're calling the store manager, well, somebody look for my bag. It's long gone, it's out the door, it's in somebody's car, and they're using those credit cards. What I say is always take a picture of your credit cards and store it, keep it home, take it off of your camera, off your phone, and so if any time your credit card is stolen, you have numbers back and front to call the company and cancel your card right
that's
out.
a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know you work with women, you work with kids, you
I
work
do.
with elderly. What are some differences in how each group keeps themselves safe?
So for children, it's very easy for an aggressor to come over and just pick them up and walk away with them.
I mean, just my heart is like, ugh.
For moms and dads.
Yeah.
So for the children, I tell them there are different techniques if they're grabbed. A bear hug from behind is much different for a child as it is for an adult. And there are techniques where a child can just cartwheel over and grab the aggressor's leg, pull themselves down, and there's a maneuver where they can wiggle their way in, like almost like a worm.
Wow.
And they hold on to them and they pull back on the person's knee. The person falls over. The child roll, 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 get up and go. As opposed to an adult where the mechanics are a little bit bigger because I am the same size as my intended aggressor, or he may be bigger, but we're still two adults. And at that point, if somebody comes up behind me or one of my students, if they were ever attacked this way, there's a technique that you can do to get that person right off of you, a bear hug from behind. So if you're standing at the ATM for a little elderly person, same thing comes over, a person comes over, an aggressor, and they say, you know, we want your money. There's defense from edged weapons, that being knives. The elderly person can do different techniques, many different techniques and methods. They just have to learn what they are.
Right.
And we all have personal self-defense weapons on us, even if we don't have any weapons like keys or a knife or a book to hit with. We have our own personal physical aspect that we utilize, and I teach in class.
That's great. And you brought it up, so I'm going to ask you about it. What about, not necessarily guns or knives, but safety devices that we might carry on our person? What do you feel about that?
So safety devices, if it is a knife, I'll say that I carry one in my car at all times. And that's
But you're a trained professional.
Yes, I am. But if you don't know how to use something, I don't suggest that you carry it. Get expertise education first and foremost. And the use of pepper spray, I would go to the police station and there's actually a class in which to learn how to use that.
I'm glad you said that because
Yes.
I've thought about that before, and I thought, what if I practice with it and I use all the pepper spray?
You can go and get a new one.
but how do you know it's empty? You know, like you use it and to practice, and then you have a problem, and then you're like, oh, I used it all.
You used it all. At that point, I would talk to your trainer, and police can tell you, well, you know what, you really don't want to practice with this. Practice with hairspray. They will tell you how much is in the bottle. I do believe that it says on the bottle itself how much is in there, the amount.
Is that legal in the state of Massachusetts?
It is legal. Prior, you needed an FID card in order to house personal mace on you, but now you no longer need an FID card.
Where do you get that?
That would go. You go to the police station
and buy it from them
and get the FID card. So basically, they would run you, make sure that you're an okay person.
Okay.
And then you go to wherever they house mace, so you could get it online.
I see.
And buy it that way.
I see, and you have to have the number of the card.
Yes, exactly. So I do believe that you should most definitely speak with a trained professional, and your police station can always help you get in touch with the specific numbers that you need to if it's guns, if it's different type of like classes that you need to get in touch with, they'll head you in the right direction.
So tell us a little bit more about your class, and also can you just give the audience a little bit deeper understanding of your background, because I read your bio and it's pretty impressive.
Sure. So I started my career as a corrections officer at a medium maximum prison for males, and I started getting my education there.
I bet you did.
Absolutely, I did. Prior to that, I went to the Medfield State Academy for Correction Officers, which was an 8-week course. We had to go through a multitude of different types of training, tactical training, in order to complete the program to become a corrections officer. From there, I was a assigned prostitute and narcotics individual, and I would stand and I would get particular Johns, and they would be arrested. And then I worked with a narcotic team up in Newburyport, where I would be an actual buyer. And so I did some work there with the Sheriff's Department and local police stations.
Wow.
From there, 9/11 happened. So I left and I went with the security on the federal level at the airport for just about 8 years. And from there, I went to a police and security department in Boston, where I got even more education on tactical defense and different methods and techniques of programs. So I have 20 years of experience and 20 years of information that I have culminated this program together. I last left my position because I was hurt on the job, and after surgery, my surgeon said, "Kristen, you can no longer run." Well, guess what? If you can no longer run, you can't do a job that you need to be physical. So I want to stay safe, and like I said previous when we opened this show, that I want to help people on a much broader scale. And you know, women, children, and elders are a vulnerable population right now, and so that's who I seek to assist.
And so if somebody wanted to take the course, how would they do that?
Yes, so they can call me directly. My phone number is 617-291-2999, and they can email me at dyata12@hotmail.com. I'll spell that out for you. Dyata, D-Y-A-T-A 12@hotmail.com.
And that's Defend Yourself Against the Aggressor,
Yes,
Dyata.
yes.
Thank you so much for your time in sharing this to help us keep Winchester safe. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before we go into a demonstration, which I think is going to be really helpful?
Yes,
Any
absolutely.
last parting words of advice to keep our community safe?
Absolutely. I have a couple for you.
Okay.
So one is when we're pulling up to the gas station, there are those wonderful new little stations now where you can watch TV, news, whatever is going on, the score of the game. All your awareness is right on that TV while you're pumping gas into your car. At what time a person can come through, your doors are open because that you think that you're safe, your car is right in front of you. A person can come in, grab your bag, grab your wallet off the seat, and they're gone with it. And you don't even realize something's wrong because you don't see it until you're halfway down the street. And you don't know the description of somebody or who it was or what happened to your bag, so you're left clueless. So always lock your door, take your keys with you, even if you're right at the gas pump itself. Secondly, for women, we all have big bags now, which is the style, with no zipper, and it's just easy in and easy out. When you're in a store, Marshall's, TJ Maxx, or even the supermarket, keep that bag in front of you. Fold your arms over it, just so you know it's protected and nobody behind you with your personal space zones to behind. You don't have eyes on the back of your head. So most importantly, keep all your belongings safe. Keep that bag in front of you or on top of your car, but always remember to take it with you when you're leaving that car. So those are...
I have a question about the keys in the car and the gas.
Yes.
What about leaving your kids in the car? Say that you go to the gas station, they want, some water or bagel or whatever at Dunkin' Donuts. Can you run in? What do you do with your kids? Say, like some people have younger kids, some people have teenagers. What do you advise people about that?
Oh, I think, kids are a deterrent in a car, but always take your keys. You don't want to leave your keys with your kids in the car or the family dog. Absolutely not. So always take your keys out, and if they're a teen age, then I would think that they're safe enough, and they...
But don't leave your keys in the car.
Do not leave your keys in the car at any stretch, no.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So we're going to have a demonstration now.
Yes, we are. I'm excited.
Okay, let's see it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
good.
so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right, we're going to do a demonstration now, and you're going to learn a lot about how to keep yourself safe, your loved ones safe, your kids safe, and your elderly loved ones safe. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, so we will be conducting 2 different types of defense. One will be a bear hold from behind and what to do if ever in a confrontation like that, as well as the second will be a front choke hold and how to get yourself out of that situation. At first, he will choke me. Okay, so go right ahead. And now if you notice, the person will never be out here. The person will be in, they will be choking you, they want all of the air out of your lungs. At which point, there are 26 bones on your instep. That is the top of your foot. If the person is not wearing a steel-toed shoe, you come up and you stomp down on the person's foot. That breaks their whole foot, and I guarantee you they will let go. Secondly, what to do. The person is right here. It's almost like opening a jar. They'll be really close and up to you. At that point, take your thumbs, go into their eyes, take their eyes out. If you're a little bit squirmish about that, what you can do is cup your hands, slam your hands against their ears, and it breaks their eardrum. Secondly, your palm strike to the chin, palm strike to the nose. Instantly, that breaks their nose as well as their chin. There are pressure points, 2 fingers, which go in the back of their collarbone, press down. What I would say, initially, grab their head, fingers into their eyes, thumbs into their eyes. That will get them away from you. Secondly, stomp the bug. I tell my children that I work with. Stomp the bug to break all the bones in their foot. That person will leave you. Second one, what he's going to do to me, bear hold from behind, and I'll get myself out of that technique. He has his arms around me. Same thing, follow his leg down to his foot, the 26 bones. Break the bones. Or grab a finger, any finger, doesn't matter which one, and pull back like an onion and get yourself out of dodge. Run the opposite way. Thank you very much, Tyler.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.